Hi everybody. This video is walking you guys through your second essay assignment. And you guys have already created an essay where you had an argument outlining a specific stance on a topic of your choosing. So now the task is to expand on that same argument using research from different sources. So what you're going to do is create an essay that expands on that first essay's argument with ample research to support your claims. You do need to keep the same topic and stance as the first essay. You can't switch topics. You can't switch sides. The other thing I want to make sure is very clear is that you cannot simply copy and paste your first essay and then add a little bit, like a page and a half. I do expect this to be a significant revision of the first essay because the research you're adding isn't just going to be lumped in, say, at the end. You're going to want to incorporate it throughout your essay. You're going to want to go back and look at the comments that I leave you, and you're going to want to revise and make this stronger. So it should be the same topic and stance, but it should look, substantially refreshed with all of this new content. So like I said, I don't want you can't recycle work, so I don't want you to just, copy and paste the first essay and then add a little bit onto it. I do expect this to be a significant revision of your first essay with the new research and additional information. So you do need to have 4 sources in this essay. So one of those is going to have to be an in-person interview. Obviously, that's virtually, whether that's by phone or by Zoom or by FaceTime or however you want to do it. But you do need to choose someone relative to this field of whatever you're talking about to interview, someone who is a subject matter expert in some sense. Now, I realize for some fields that may be a little more difficult than others. But do remember you have, a huge, college at your disposal. You have lots of professionals there in lots of different fields. What you don't want to do is just choose, say, your friend who had an experience with X, Y, and Z. For example, if you're arguing for the national legalization of marijuana, you don't want to just pick a friend who smokes marijuana and then get their thoughts. That's not a subject matter expert. That's not somebody within the field. In that case, you might choose, someone in law or history or, police or anything, or medicine, anything relative to the benefits or the detriments that you're speaking about in your essay. So your essay is going to be 4 to 5 pages in length and is due on Sunday, November 15th by 11:59 p.m. Like I said, that's always the minimum is 4. I do expect you might want to write a little bit more than 4 pages. 4.5 up to 5 would probably be a really strong use of these source materials. You do have a lot to talk about. Minimum page number must be met. All assignments checked for plagiarism, of course, and MLA formatting required. So again, make sure you keep the same topic, same stance. Have all the general parts of an essay, so that's your thesis and your claim, your reasons, your opposing views of refutations, and the appropriate number of sources and a conclusion. Now, the source material you could use to argue either side. So you could use source material to support your view, or you could use source material to acknowledge and then refute opposing views. So you might bring in research that says, now, say you're arguing about about climate change. You might bring in a research source that tries to argue the other side, that says this is a natural cycle in human history and blah 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 according to this journal or magazine, and then you would argue against that and disprove it in your refutation. So that's one way you could do it. You could also bring them in just to support your side of the argument. So if you're saying, we should legalize abortion on a national level up through the second trimester, you might bring in a quote from a published medical journal or a doctor that talks about the development of the fetus and when they're considered, say human or whatever it might be. In your essay, you're going to have sort of 2 parts that make up your essay grade. You're going to do an annotated bibliography. So you'll have a full explanation of what this assignment is later, but essentially an annotated bib looks at a source and has a sort of 1 paragraph analysis around that source about where you do a summary of it, an evaluation of it, and then you discuss how you might use that source in your essay. And then you need to have a final draft where you submit a clean draft as a Word document, and you're going to need to include a regular bibliography. Now, I say this because sometimes students just include their annotated bib. That's not the same thing. Your annotated bib is actually going to have 6 or so sources on it, one of which is your required interview. When you write your essay, you only need to have 4 sources. So, which of course one includes your interview. So your bib should have at least 4 sources listed on it, and it just needs to be a regular bibliography. You don't need to make it an annotated bib. Like I said, there is a full explanation about this when you get to the assignment, but essentially, this is where you look at the source, you summarize it, you analyze it, and then you say how you would use it in your essay. I've also included this optional self-edit guide again for you guys, and apologies if the page numbers don't quite mess up. Like I said, I've shortened these assignments for you guys just a little bit. And then if you need it, not that you do, but if you need it, there is a guide here to kind of help with any in-person interviews that you might be doing. So there's a note card method you could use. There's another sort of written or oral interview method you could use. It's there if you need it. So let me know if you have questions. But otherwise, the goal of this essay really is to show that you understand how to find and then integrate credible, solid research to help support your claim and prove your argument to your audience.